If tomorrow all things are gone, I worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American. Well, at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the ones who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend us till today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Hey, good evening. How is everybody doing? Tonight we got. Oh, we're live, Lou.
Hello. Hi out there in TV land. What's up?
It's podcast land. But we got Paul will be joining us a little bit. Frankie can't make it tonight. I think Frankie's out on the skeet range. So Frankie shot a perfect score. Oh, there goes Paul.
There he is.
Hey, Paul.
What's up?
What's happening, guys?
None much. So Frankie can't be on tonight. I think he's at the skeet range. Last week he shot a perfect score in skeet. He shot a 25. Wow. So he said the last station we had to do doubles. He goes, I don't even know if I kept my eyes open. I just pulled the trigger and everybody was applauding him. So we tip our hats to Frank. Good shooting. He's getting his 25 patch. So he's practicing. We got a lot of shooting with the nice weather coming up on us and stuff like that. So I know we got a lot of events coming up. We got a lot of weekend events with just the guys and stuff like that, and practice in the off season is what we like to do. So if it's punching paper, shooting steel, or breaking clays, you got to get out there with your guns. And it just made me, there you go, Lo. Yeah, you gave me a good idea. So we got to get out there with our guns just to you got to practice. That's what you got to do, So so tonight Lewis and I are wearing, Paul, I got a hat from you.
Yeah, what is that?
For you
from this company. So Lou, you wanna get into it?
Ballistol is a cleaning and lubricating product. They make a lot of different kinds of products for that kind of stuff, and they're very environmentally friendly, and the stuff works fantastic. I was introduced to it, funny to say, by my 30-year-old son, who's been using it for and as long as he's been shooting. He always bought it and always loved it. And I thought, and I'm going to say it, it had a little bit of I'm not going to say funny, bad. It had a very distinct smell. So I was like, Vin, what is that? Oh, it's Ballistol. It's the best. And I was like, it's a funny smell. He's like, that cleans and lubricates, works excellent. And then Andrew reached out to them, and they sent us some hats and some stuff.
Yeah, so actually they reached out to me last podcast we did, and they liked our hats, the Field to the Fork hat that I wear, on when we do our podcast. So we started getting into talking back and forth and everything, and I told them about the shooting events that I do, for the DAV, for the Boy Scouts, and other events that we run. So they had sent me they sent me a box of some cleaning products. We can put in some goodie bags for the 2 clay shoots that we got coming up. They sent me a banner, and they sent me some hats and stuff like that. They were going to be on tonight, but I gave them too short of a notice. I asked them on Sunday, but they're going to come on in 2 weeks on our next podcast. So I said, well, we'll wrap up the part 2 of tonight's discussion about, about shooting sports and then gun maintenance and stuff like that. And so the gentleman, Todd, and his supervisor, I don't know his name, they'll be on next week, but they're a company around, I think 1904 is when they started, and it's a pretty decent product. I mean, our uncle had used it off and on. Uncle Joey had an old metal can from them for a while, and he said he liked it because it didn't leave any funny that on your hands, any residue and stuff like that. And I don't know if he even knew about it, but it's environmentally friendly. So like if you're going to take a can of this and try to take some carbon off, if you're going to clean your shotgun in the field, if you hunt it and you get a stovepipe or a jam, this product right here, you could spray it, and if you get overspray on the grass, it's not going to be harmful to the environment. So that's another big thing why I guess,
In today's world, that's very popular.
very big, yeah.
You don't have pollutants in your, the stuff you're using that's already a little bit pollutant, let's say.
Exactly. So it's but that's why we got the hats on. I do have a hat for you, Paul. So we'll make sure for next podcast when they come on, you got your hat, and
All right.
so we'll be very happy to have them on. We'll get into a little bit more, I guess, in the next episode about gun maintenance, gun cleaning and gun care and stuff like that. And if you have a field bag, what you should have in it and stuff like that. I told them that we would wait for them to get onto that, but tonight I just wanted to get into the warm weather. Shooting sports is coming. Lou was talking about reloading and stuff like that, and getting ready for some of the steel matches, the static steel matches and stuff like that. I got a couple knockdown steel matches that I'm going to do out in the island. I was at my club this weekend. I was talking to them about. So I just tuned up a Ruger PC carbine with a nice Burris red dot on there, and I got the gun all dialed in. So I'm going to do a couple knockdown with that, and then I'm going to try it out by Lewis's house. And then Paul, if you want to get out there, we got enough carbines for you to use. So you want to come out and do some steel matches?
Yeah, if I'm shooting one of my handguns, you're welcome to my carbine. It's dead on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll get you out there. It's a lot of fun. You meet a lot of nice people. I met a lot.
It's a beautiful day. It's a nice, easy day. Yeah. Everybody helps everybody. The club out here, like the club by Andrew, everybody's very user friendly. It's like a brotherhood, It's like when you're boating and everybody's like a big family on the water. Same thing. Yeah. If you're doing something wrong, God come up, tap you on the shoulder. Go to your left. Hold the gun this way. Do this. Let me give you a little tip. Let me show you something. You know what I'm saying? This is what you're doing wrong. Or open the other eye. Everybody's always very helpful.
The only tough critic on range is this guy next.
Well,
he gives you
I take everything to another level.
he gives you you get a smack in the head.
What are you shooting at?
Yeah, what are you shooting at?
It's that way.
Yeah, gotta conserve ammo. What are you, stupid? Come on, stop. I'm gonna give you a smack. I'm like,
as Mike says, my friend Mike says, I'm becoming more human as time goes on.
But then I gotta say, I've been to a bunch of matches, and like what Lewis said, Paul, it's a very big family. If somebody's got a gun you want to try it, they'll take you in an open pit. They'll load a magazine up. They'll let you try it. And everybody's a gentleman. But we had an event. There was a family shooting. Mother, the father, and the daughter. And the daughter was shooting. Like we just had this conversation with our producer before we went on. She was shooting a Beretta 92 which got to have one of the heaviest trigger pulls that there is.
It's a long trigger pull.
And the kid was struggling, and Lewis worked with her. I mean, he worked with her where, I don't know times. I couldn't tell you times. Lewis could tell you good times, but to have a clean run with like a basic handgun is what, 4 seconds, Lou, on an average stage?
Under 10 is good. Under double digits is good.
Yeah.
For beginners, you're shooting a while, 5-6 seconds is like, I want to say, not the gold standard, but anything under 5 is fast.
Yeah. So she was struggling. She was struggling. She was getting a do not finish. She was getting a couple misses and stuff like that. Lewis worked with her for like 2 stages, 3 stages. And
the first thing you tell people is this: no one's going home with a Cadillac. There's nothing you're going to win, and no one's going to get thrown out. You're not going to do nothing wrong. Just got to relax. And then right away they start, once they calm down and they're like in relaxed mode a little bit, but they're focused as far as the safety aspect, then they're good.
Yeah.
Then they're enjoying it. They're not, first you get in there, you get, man, step into the box, make ready. Is shooter ready? You ready? Stand by. You get, and everybody has like Mike Tyson, everybody has a plan to punch him in the face. Everybody's all ready to go. And then when the buzzer goes up, they're like, they're all like panicking. So you got to get that panic out. Same thing, Nicholas and them when they first came, they were like a little intimidated, but I'm like, bro, I'm helping you. You're good to go. You're not going to do nothing wrong. Take it easy. Trust me. And they're good.
Nick is very intense like you when he's got that stance that he's very intense. Andrew and Thomas and the older boys that we took, they were smooth like silk. Nothing bothered them.
Andrew's a very confident, complacent kid. Different personalities. Andrew's is very, I'm not going to say one kid's not smart, one kid's smart. Andrew's a very intelligent, confident in himself. So you tell him something, he applies it from here to here. Some kids, they can do it. They know exactly what they're going to do, but they just get a little flustered. Rob's son, he brought a gun, was all set up to shoot. His father, world-class shooter. And the kid was like, I gave him my little AR, my little 15-22.
Dominated the course.
He shot a couple of the stages better than me with my own gun. So I mean,
dominated the course. He was
just to show you.
Yeah.
Just to show you.
Yeah.
You know. So it's a lot of fun. It's a one big family. Everybody's nice. I'm not gonna say most of the people. Everybody's nice.
Everybody's nice.
You know, we don't surround ourselves with not nice people, so everybody's nice.
I met some nice guys from at Lewis's club. A couple guys I was texting up into middle of the pandemic. How you doing? What's going on? You know, we're talking about prices of ammo, trying to get ammo and stuff like that. It's one nice family. Same thing. My club here. I was out Sunday. I patterned my my 2 shotguns for this weekend. I'm going to Maryland. I said on the last podcast, I got a turkey hunt. I'm going to Maryland, so I bought Turkey Thunder, whatever it was. I bought a couple choke tubes. I wanted to see which one was the best. I got my Hornady turkey ammo, and I couldn't be more happy with everything. But I was at the club with Rob and a couple of guys there who was testing some reloads that they did. They got a big match coming up, and everybody there is like, when you coming back? When you gonna come shooting? And my whole thing with them was I was just, I was a little nervous with the whole ammo situation. Now that it's out there, I mean, it's a little more expensive than, past years and stuff like that.
It's going to be what they're calling the new norm. You got to get a little bit used to the new norm. Eventually, I'll say it's going to stabilize. I'm not going to tell you it's going to go down. It's not availability or like supply and demand and every other kind of business. Meat, beverages, supply and demand sets the tone. And gasoline for transportation or diesel fuel also sets the tone a little bit for delivery for the price. It's a factor. If it wasn't, I wouldn't say it.
Well, precious metals, right? The brass and stuff like that, everything is at a premium now. So.
Metals, commodity, all that stuff, metals, precious metals or like lead and stuff is going up. And a lot of stuff comes from certain countries. A lot of it, they don't want them to dig here or mine here for certain things. So they buy copper and things abroad. That is what adds to it.
Yeah. So
a lot of factors, a lot of little factors.
Yeah. Well, that's what kind of stopped me a little bit there. Clay shooting, I didn't skip a beat in my clay shooting. Clay shooting, I still went out. The fine shotgun ammo was easier to find shotgun ammo than it was to find 40 or 9mm.
It's not
or even 22.
Much more expensive than it originally was.
What's that? 12 gauge?
Yeah, it's 5% more.
You're paying like you just said, you're paying for the shipping.
Transportation. Right. You're paying for the transportation. Exactly what the difference is.
Yeah. So, I mean.
A guy can't cost him, let's say, $9 a case more because of transportation and not pass it on to the customer.
Exactly. So Lou and I were talking, Paul, last week about, he called me. He wanted to know about choke tubes. He wants to get good choke tubes for his gun and stuff like that. So I was telling you, Lou, I not a fan of the Briley choke tubes. I knew I bought these Helix choke tubes. Frankie told me about them. It was supposed to be, it's a choke tube that's supposed to twist your wad as it comes out, and it spins the whole shot pattern like a bee's swarm or whatever. And it's supposed to,
you get more coverage, I assume.
You get more coverage, exactly. Well, who makes them? Briley makes them.
Okay.
I have one for my 1187. If you want to try it out. I got I think an IC improved cylinder.
Okay.
I bought one for my 1187. I bought one. Actually, I bought a set for Nick for Christmas for him for his under and over, his Beretta under and over. I haven't used them yet, and then I bought an IC for my SX4. And Nick was the only one that used the 1187 with it, and he said he couldn't. He can't go by him because the kid goes out and shoots a perfect score on a skeet or trap range. So he's like, I can't see no difference. I'm like, well, were you breaking? You're supposed to break the clays with like a black cloud. I go, were you breaking them with a black cloud? And he had that little cocky that little cocky smile about them. I always break them like that. I break them like dust all the time, Dad. So you can't judge by me. So if you want, you can borrow it. If you like it, then we'll order you one. If you don't like it, then you just give it back, and we'll do what we got to do, whatever. But I like.
It'd be good to take it to a range, right, and shoot it on paper and see what.
Well, you want to pattern them,
yeah. Oh, there's a patterning station at both ranges. They have like this. It looks like a circle, and you put your target behind it, and when you shoot so many feet, it shows you how to spread, and at further distance, to spread less of a spread or whatever. So when I was in Central Jersey, I had one. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'd like to try that. I'm always the scientist with exploring things, engineering. I'd love to see what a different choke tubes look at coming out of the same rifle.
What I'd like to do, if you want, we'll do when we go upstate to the range that we put out back. We'll go up there. There are patterned targets. I just ordered a couple on Lewis.
Most of them have a turkey head on them.
Well, no, the patterned ones. It's a circle with an orange circle in the middle. That's it. Okay. So pattern for turkey is different than pattern for clays or just pattern and choke tube. Okay. I was on vacation last week, so while I was in the car driving down south, I had some downtime while my wife was driving, and as Lewis got me hot on the topic about choke tubes, I just started going through, reading on the web and stuff like that, and then there was a whole thing on pattern your sporting clay gun or pattern your trap and skeet gun, which I never thought.
It'll make you a better shot if you know how the gun shoots. Yeah. And a lot of people have no idea, or like when we would shoot Daddy's gun, they had no chokes. Whatever was set, it was set at. Yeah. And you had to shoot, it's like a gun like the old 45s had a fixed sight. So if the gun shot a little left, you had to compensate. Yeah. Same thing with the shotguns. You have to know how the gun shoots and shoot it accordingly, let's say.
Yeah. And they made them better shooters. I mean, look at Daddy back in the day, right? Daddy.
There was back then. And another thing, we were shooting a spring machine where you're not shooting then on a sporting clay course where they're shooting out of an electric machine. It's going twice as fast too. Yeah. There's a lot of little factors. Ammo today is a little faster than it was back then. So a lot of stuff, a lot of little factors.
I also read that especially on skeet and trap, you don't want the faster ammo. You want the slower ammo.
Okay.
And Frankie and I were talking about that the other day, and he said one of the guys at the club that he shoots had said the same thing. So when Lewis and I spoke, it just, not that we think we know it all. We're very versed in what we do. We taught a lot of people how to shoot. We broke a lot of people into the sport and everything. And, there's just, you want to educate yourself. So I just started reading this article, and I was like, wow, it opened my mind to some other things. So I went on, like I said, I went to Lewis's favorite site. I ordered some targets. Hopefully I'll have them in a couple of days. I went to Midway USA, so I bought them on there.
I like Midway.
Midway is a very good site. I like them. And as soon as I get them, Paul, what we'll have to do is they're a large target. So we'll make a backstop. We'll make something maybe out of 2x4s, 2x3s, or something like that.
Like 2x2s, you make a big square.
Well, that's what we're going to have to do, yeah.
You put them in there. I have them at the range. What I'm going to do is when I go to the range, I'm going to take a couple of pictures with my phone, and I'll have the dimensions, and I'll show you exactly how you make a patterning target. It's very simple.
Yeah, these targets are 24 by 24. So we'll have
That's exactly right. 24 by 24. Yeah. And it's a big cardboard back, and then you put your pattern target on it. And the distance is what you're going to have to estimate with a little, rangefinder.
Yeah, we got the rangefinder and stuff like that, and we'll try it at, they're saying, so not to jump topic, so we'll stay on the same topic, but they were saying that, so you want to talk about choke tubes. So, skeet gives you better of a pattern than improved cylinder and cylinder on the skeet range. So it's called a skeet tube for a reason, to shoot, skeet and stuff like that. As for sporting clays, like what my son Nicholas does with Nick, he with the Remington he shoots, I bought him a little set, and he's got improved cylinder, skeet, and modified. And depending on, when the guy gives you a looker, he looks and he sees, all right, I need my modified choke tube. And he goes up there, he does his little mock swing with the shotgun, and he does
Right.
very well for himself on the range. You go to another one, he got to swap out his choke tube and stuff like that. So I was telling Lewis, I think you were there, Paul. We were at one of the Boy Scout shoots, and I think it was I don't know if he's on one of our watches. I won't name his name, but was telling him, "Hey Nick, you're cheating." So Nick was like, "What do you mean I'm cheating?" He goes, "You're changing out your choke tube." So Nick goes, "When you play golf, do you use one club?"
Exactly.
He was like,
right.
I got it. Point taken, point taken. But if you got a guy with an under and over where they might have, improved, over modified or vice versa, so you got your under and over and they got the choke tubes that are in there. So they know if you got doubles, one's going to come out far, one's going to come out close, so.
Most of those guys, when they're shooting trap or sporting clays, only use the bottom barrel. That I've noticed when I shot Central Jersey for years.
Yeah, but if you got doubles, they use the bottom barrel first.
Story.
Is what they use.
They always use the bottom barrel. If it's a single, if they're going to shoot one, they always use the bottom barrel.
Yeah,
is what they do.
Well, the bottom barrel, because it's hinged closest to the gun. If you use the top barrel,
stability, I guess. I don't know.
They say it could disline the under and over. I haven't read anything about that. We've been talking about that White Ghost for quite some time about that, but I don't know. I mean, I'm going to ask one of the guys I know, one of the gun stores that we deal with if that's a true statement or not. But,
you got the guys at the Beretta Gallery. There's nobody better than them to ask them.
Yeah.
That would be the guys you want to ask.
Yeah.
Before we forget, I wanted to make a point. It's not so much of being an expert. It's in the late 60s when I was a kid and early 70s, I went with my father and my Uncle Joe, and they showed us how to do the trap. We had no skeet. We had our own little thrower. We made all our own, reloaded all our own 12-gauge shells. And I don't want to use the word expert or whatever, but safety was paramount. And we had a lot of fun, and which it's what it's really all about. Because Paul and the boys, when they come with Dad and we up at the cabin, the camaraderie and the fun is worth 10 times the hunt. Would you agree or disagree?
Oh, 100%.
So that's what those memories I have of going skeet shooting with them at Tom's up back in the days of the late 60s and early 70s in the apple orchards and stuff were phenomenal. And we always had a great time. And as time went on, you got better at it. And then we had like a little thing out in Long Island. Remember Bo, God rest his soul, and them guys?
Yeah.
And we used to have like a little Rosedale Garada Gun Club thing out there. So, we like he says, we introduced a lot of people into it. And Vinny Serrati went with a lot of people that went back when we used to go to those little things back then. And it was always fun. It was always safe. And everybody enjoyed it. It seemed to enjoy it.
Yeah. Listen, we were still going up to a couple of years ago before, our father went totally blind, but we'd go every Father's Day. Paul would go with his boys.
Oh, yeah.
I would go with Andrew and Nick. Rob would come with Thomas. And, we went out there with a bunch of guys. We'd go first thing in the morning. We go trap shooting. We go walk the loop out over at one of the trap ranges out there. And, Daddy was still smoking clays, before his eyesight, failed him. And it was just a matter of us going out there, and I think the best part of the day was, everybody having like a bagel and a cup of coffee or an orange juice at the back of the car,
Yeah, it's always a lot of fun. That stuff's always fun.
But, so no matter what you're doing, no matter what kind of shooting you're doing, if you're hunting or you're sport shooting and stuff like that, or shooting for competition, there's always got to be proper gun care, proper gun maintenance and stuff like that. And to get into it, if you're, I'm going to give you a scenario that happened to me. I was field hunting. I don't know if you were there with us, Paul. We were goose hunting down in Maryland. And so we had geese come in from behind us. Boom, 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 boom. Everybody shooting in the two blinds we shoot. So we had one runner. So the goose runs and it's running away from us and everything. So the guide at the time, Lou's like, go ahead, guys, go get the birds. He's like, Andrew, if you want to go retrieve that bird, go retrieve that bird. So I took 2 shells with me and I'm running. I got my, I think I had my Benelli Nova with me or whatever. And I'm running. And this freaking thing is running. Like it's running the marathon for me. So I'm running after. And I finally get him close enough to it. And I go to shoot at it and I missed it the first shot. So I go to shoot at it the second shot. I miss it with the second shot. So now I'm running at it. And I throw my shotgun at it. to try to stop it, and my gun gets stuck in the mud barrel all the way up to where where you got to screw the little cap off to take the barrel out all the way down into there. So I run over. I finally get the bird. It was on its way out. I just think for me chasing it finally expired. So now I got to come back. It surrendered, yeah. So, we get back and I open up my little can, my ammo can up, and I got all my stuff in there. And I got the rod, I knock the mud out, I clean it, I do what I got to do, take the choke tube out, make sure there's no dirt, sand, spray it. I had, all kinds of, at the time, I think Lewis and I we were big with like carburetor cleaning and stuff like that to clean out the carbon and stuff like that. So we would just clean it. I field cleaned the gun so I could continue to hunt and everything. But I had enough gear in my box. I had cleaning rods, I had boar snake, I had rags, I had oil, I had some type of lubricant spray or spray cleaner and stuff like that, which if you're going to go hunting, you don't always overlook it. So come to this year, I'm duck hunting with a couple of friends, and I'm going to walk out of the blind, and I drop my shotgun in the mud, and I dropped it trigger down. The trigger guard went down, and I got mud into the receiver. I got mud and everything, and I didn't have nothing to clean it with. I had a small bottle of water. I was cleaning it. I couldn't get the gun clean. It was like the safety was still engaged, and it just, that was it. It was like, we were towards the end of the hunt and anyway. So I just kind of unloaded my gun. I made it safe, and I just hung out and watched everybody, shoot ducks as they came by. But you want to always be prepared as what you want to have in some type of a field bag and stuff like that. And we'll go over that the next podcast when we got, the professionals on here, about gun cleaning, gun maintenance and stuff like that.
Hey, Andrew, it's Mike. I just want to butt in for 1 second, okay?
Yes, sir.
I have a picture of you chasing that bird. I don't know. I can't confirm if it's you or not, but
that's it.
Yep.
That's it.
Was that it?
That was it. That was it. The funny part about that story is my son Nick's first year, and I'm like, Nick, I go, did you have a good time? I go, what'd you learn? He's like, I learned that you really can run fast. I was like, thanks, buddy. But it's listen, there's always some type of
Andrew.
Yeah.
It's on a good day with Andrew.
Yeah, Wile E. Coyote. With my hoodie on.
That's my favorite. It's my favorite. Super genius.
Super genius. But no matter what we do, we always have fun. But, what I'm trying to get is you got to have like proper gun care, gun maintenance, stuff like that. If I was in the field and I had nothing, that was it. And that was early in the morning. We still had a whole day of hunting. We didn't even begin to limit out with our birds. So if I didn't have that cleaning kit with me, I would have just sat there and watched everybody hunt. And it wouldn't have been a bad thing. I would have had a good time no matter what. But, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to pull the trigger and do what I had to do. So, you always want to keep something in your field bag and stuff like that, and have proper gun care and maintenance and stuff like that. So,
opposed to deer hunting, where they make stuff called invisible cleaner, which has no scent, because scent when you're deer hunting is very important. But if you're small game hunting, any kind of waterfowl hunting, or even small game hunting, it's always good to have a little box with oil, WD-40, or a similar product like that you could clean, lubricate, and like derust something that you didn't notice before you went out. Proper maintenance and proper gun care is key to all your equipment working smoothly.
Yeah. No, listen, I agree. It's key. I mean, some of the shotguns and stuff that I have, or the rifles that I have that Lewis has, you got stuff that was handed down from family members or from close friends and stuff like that. Their guns got to be 60 plus years old. They look like they're brand new.
I have a Browning from 1926.
Wow.
I have a Ithaca side by side from 1937 or 39. So I got some real old stuff too.
And they're all outside of a
pristine shape. As time goes on, I'll bring them.
Yeah, as a little nick on the piece of wood, which is normal, But as for fully, function operational, everything operates, nice and smooth and stuff like that. So. Moving on, we ready to talk about some bourbon?
Sure.
So I was down south. I was down in Carolina last week, and I stopped at a distillery down there, which was really good. I had some of this bourbon, and I got some I got some whiskey from there. But I had, sitting there, the guy's like, "What do you want to drink?" And I didn't know what I wanted and everything. And so I was like, "You know what? I want a Bloody Mary, but I want a Bloody Mary with bourbon." And I tell you what, it was a game changer. It was really, really, really good. It was a good Bloody Mary. They had put pickled okra and all kinds of stuff in there. I really, really enjoyed it. And then we went to a bar like right around the corner from there, same bourbon, but that place was known for their Bloody Marys. And that Bloody Mary to me was probably the best Bloody Mary I've ever had in a while. But if you haven't had a Bloody Mary with bourbon, I strongly recommend you try it. It's different, it's not like with something with vodka that you would think, especially if you got like I got a bottle for us to sample. It was from Burnt Church Distillery.
Yep.
I've
heard of that.
It was Anita's Blend or something like that.
Neat place too, right?
Yeah.
It looks. I think was it in an old church or they just made
no?
It
It's
like
the name
an
of
church?
That's the name of the road. That's the name of the road.
Yeah. But the whole place looked like
it
looked
looks like it's a brand new building.
Yeah.
It looks like an old church and stuff like that. They got round window in the back and they got stained glass around it and stuff like that. It's nice. They had a lot of products there and stuff like that. It was a pretty neat place. But I bought a bottle of their bourbon. I bought a bottle of their Southern whiskey. We'll try. But the bourbon alone was really, really good. So we all learned and we all know Lewis got different taste than Paul and than I got, and from Frankie got and stuff like that with bourbon. But I was trying to get somebody on tonight from one of the distilleries, but there's something going on in Manhattan. A couple of the guys had prior commitments, stuff like that. I sent an email. I didn't realize that there's two in Brooklyn. There's two distilleries in Brooklyn.
Sure, definitely.
Yeah, I didn't know that. As I started Googling things and
I was in Tennessee. There was a bunch of them in Tennessee when I was down there.
You're talking Tennessee. I'm talking here in Brooklyn. I was like right in our own backyard. There's two distilleries. So I was pretty impressed by that. There's one in Red Hook and there's one, I think, somewhere in
Williamsburg?
Probably Williamsburg or maybe where the Navy Yard is. I think the Navy Yard's on
it's like sort of in the same area.
Similar area. So I didn't know that as I was looking, to see if I can get somebody to come on, an expert to talk about bourbon, stuff like that. It was too short of a notice.
It's getting very popular. It's like the craft beer and then, the wineries. Because we were up in the Finger Lakes. There was a lot of distilleries up there too. A lot of little small craft distilleries opening up. Yeah.
I tell you, so I like, and I shot with the gentleman. He owns DeConnick Distillery up in, I want to say like that Pine Plains area, upstate New York. Very nice guy. His bourbon is young. It's good. I like the one he does in an old, what do you call it, Barry? He does an old wine barrel. And it's got a really unique flavor. It's nice. When Paul or somebody, one of our bartenders making Manhattans and stuff like that, to me, I like it, but everything's a matter of taste. People like, Knob Creek, or people like, Maker's Mark or stuff like that. Or if you like Evans Williams, or Lewis and I had picked up you a party to that bottle too. We had a little tribute when our uncle passed away. We bought a bottle of Blanton's.
Blanton's very good.
Which I thought was really good.
Larceny's really good too. I got to get you guys a bottle of that.
Larceny's good. I like, there's another guy, like Paul said, upstate New York. There was a guy, I had bought a bottle last summer in one of the farmers markets here on Long Island. They were from up by Saratoga. It was like Adirondacks Distillery or something like that. That was really good bourbon. I was like I was very impressed with that bottle. And it was, some of these craft places, they're like $60, $70 a bottle.
I don't expect them to be cheap because it's small batches. The smaller the batch, the more money the stuff is.
And that was a very reasonable bottle. And it was like, wow, that was really, really good. It was nice. It was smooth. I was very impressed with it. I went back a couple times later. The guy, they weren't there. It was towards the end of the season, so I don't think it paid for him to come back down. Like it did in the beginning of the season. But I saved the bottle, so that's definitely, if we're going to do a bourbon trip, that's one of the ones you tried on my list.
Were they bourbons or whiskeys? Like Jack Daniels is a whiskey. It's not a bourbon.
I tried bourbons and I tried whiskeys.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been tasting and writing it down all the time. I know your son Andrew always laughs at my list. I'm looking at it now. I probably tasted over 150 whiskey, Scotch, bourbons, and I always rank them and rate them, and I'm always doing taste tests too, because you're surprised a lot of the, and it's all personal taste too. I mean, everybody's got a different
I
taste,
agree.
but a lot of times a cheaper Scotch sometimes is right up there with an expensive brand. It's just what you like, what your taste is.
Yeah,
Some are sweeter than others.
Yeah, and when you do it in a
Scotches.
blind test, you're not influenced. A lot of the
Absolutely.
stuff is marketing. You think, hey, this has got to be
It's
good.
supposed to be good. It's supposed to be good. It's expensive. It's not
Right.
always the case.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you ever try Monkey Shoulder?
I do not have that one on my list.
That's a really good Scotch.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I do have it. Monkey Shoulder. Yes.
Very, very good Scotch.
I did try it once, and I rated them on a scale of 1 to 5, and I gave that one a 4. So it is up there and I'm picky. If it's for me to give it a 5, it's got to be really super. So
yeah, I thought Monkey Shoulder was very good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was listening.
I like Buffalo Trace. That's kind of one of my real favorites now. Besides Bullet Rye.
I love Bullet Rye. It's one of my favorites of all of them. You started me with that. I love that.
Both you guys like the rye.
A friend of mine just brought me as a gift not too long ago. They came over. What does he like? My wife says he's like Bullet Rye. They brought me a bottle of Bullet Rye.
Mm-hmm.
They had at that Burnt Church Distillery, they had rye, they had vodka, they had gin, they had a coffee bourbon. Again, I could have went for $1,000 to buy, different samples and stuff like that. So I bought what I felt that we would all enjoy the most. I bought a bottle of each, and we'll try them out. I was listening this morning on the radio. There was a guy that bought, I don't remember the make of bourbon it was. He bought a barrel of bourbon in 1988 for like $6,000 from one of the distilleries, and he forgot about it. He left it there. And they were going through their, I guess their notes, and they're like, oh, you have a barrel of bourbon here, yada, yada, yada. What do you want to do with it? Whatever. He's like, can you sell it for me? They're like, sure, they can sell it. They sold it at auction for over $1 million.
Wow.
I believe it. And what you didn't touch upon, Paul, no, is single barrel whiskey, not blended, is way, way, way better than the blended stuff.
Yep. And I think that's one of the liquors. I think it doesn't lose anything with age. A lot of times it gets better. I think there was a story of somebody who bought a barrel, I think for to do something decorative, and it had a little whiskey in a bottle of it still, and he drank it. There's also a market for I forget what they call it. It's like old liquors, like aged liquors. Like people want like the old liquor bottles from.
Go in Daddy's basement.
Yeah,
Remember when they had the what was it?
The gnats in the water.
They had
the tax stamp on top.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go in Daddy's
brother-in-law. He did a clean out of somebody's house, and they had all the ones with the tax stamps on it. And I was drinking them until I went online and looked, and they were pricey because people.
Yeah, some of them are expensive, sure.
Because they were, old. I forget when did they stop the tax stamp? Probably in the 70s, early 80s. Yeah.
70s, maybe 79.
Yep.
I don't know if you saw. Was it Maker's Mark? You see the Slam Dunk bottles they have?
Mm-mm.
So it's a bottle. They dip
they dip it in the wax.
Well,
right.
Slam Dunk is like they dip it all the way down and then they come up. And I watched it on. I don't know if it was one of the Netflix specials or something like that or whatever, but they had it on there. Just the empty bottle is going for like $100, but if you can get one of those, so I was looking it up online. They were saying the reason for it is if a certain train passes by, it's like, hey, it's like supposed to be a good luck thing. They do like a slam dunk, but it's like 1 out of every 1,000 bottles or 1 out of every 500 bottles or whatever. They're very rare. It's just the bottle. It's not like the stuff inside is not any better than anything else, but it's just it's the simple fact that whoever dipped the bottle did a slam dunk or whatever. So I thought it was cool. A little piece of trivia, stupid things to know or whatever.
When Philip was 21, we went to the Jack Daniel's distillery. We went to the Jet game in Tennessee. and I bought the 1954 Jack Daniels that won the world class taste test. It's an oddball bottle, like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look that bottle up now, it's very expensive. And I registered it at Jack Daniels. I have like a big diploma for the bottle.
Wow, nice.
And I registered the bottle with the number that's on the bottle, on the box and everything. And that was 30 years old when I bought it. And he was born in 85. So that was like in 2003, let's say, or 2005, something like that. 2006, we were there. It was the 5th anniversary of 9/11.
Okay.
So I still got the bottle.
Wow.
Have you tapped into that 43 bottle? Luke,
I have
that we bought?
43. The liqueur?
No, the Richard Petty bottle. Did you ever
Oh,
tap into
no,
that
I still,
bottle?
mine's still unused. Mine's
That's
brand
the
new in the
one,
bottle.
yeah.
Is that any good?
I don't know. I same thing. I never opened the bottle. That's why I'm asking. I never opened my bottle and stuff like
I
that.
don't know. It's a keepsake to me. I'm a Richard Petty collector. I have
there's
watches and all kinds of stuff.
You can go to pretty much any liquor store. They have them on the shelf. Maybe I'll just go buy. I'll go buy a random bottle and we'll try it out. But
Okay.
I don't know if it's good or bad or whatever. I mean,
when I was in Tennessee, that Dickel was very popular.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not cheap stuff. It's good stuff. That was very popular. I saw big signs for it.
Paul and I sampled the bottle. Was it last year? Right. It was last Kentucky Derby. The Woodruff Reserve, which I thought was really
that's
good.
very good. Yeah.
That was really, really good.
Stag makes one that's very expensive.
Stag makes a really good one.
What was the one, Paul? I sent you the picture, Paul, that I went to. I sent you a text. They had a bourbon room for my birthday. We went.
Oh no.
That's in. We should go there. That's in Middletown, New Jersey.
Oh, it's awesome.
That's not far. That bourbon place. That's supposed to be a really nice place. They got a lot of good reviews.
Old Forester. You ever hear of Old Forester?
Yep.
Some of that stuff was $300 a glass.
Wow.
Old Forester. There's all kinds. There's 10, 20, 19, 10. There's all different like numbers and configurations on it. Wyoming White is another one that was expensive. There's a Woodward Reserve. And Stag makes one that's very expensive also.
Yeah. Stag is supposed to be
I
really
never
good.
had that one.
They're out of Buffalo Trace, right? They're all out of the same place where Buffalo Trace is made?
No, Stag is made by, what's his name there? Jim Beam owns Stag, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Jim Beam product.
Okay.
Straight Kentucky bourbon. Is that what they marquee it as, or whatever you want to call it?
Gotcha. So we got a road trip coming up in November, so hopefully on the way back we'll be hitting.
I think it's December.
November. We're going. Well, it's the end of November.
Right.
You better check your dates.
Maybe we'll go in November. We'll be back in December.
It's the 28th, dude, of November.
Is it?
Yeah.
You sure about that?
Well, that's what it means. So you're going down November. We're coming back December.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. 24th. Yeah, we leave the Friday after Thanksgiving, I believe. Something like that.
We exactly. We leave the 26th of
Saturday.
November,
right? And we're there.
Our trip is the 28th, 29th, and 30th of November. And then we'll be heading back on the 1st of December.
Okay.
I did not even have that in my calendar.
Okay.
So we'll have a little. I guess
for some reason I thought it was the week after, but I know I have that week off. The week after Thanksgiving, I'm off.
Gotcha. No, that
was that your first time in Nashville?
No, second time. I just said I was there with Philip's birthday in
2006.
when he was 21.
Oh, nice.
That was a great trip because Aaron Neville sang the national anthem. They had the first flyover of F-22s. It was a real nice trip. Real nice. And Jets won that game at the very end. That was a real nice. It was LP Field back then. They were like a Home Depot kind of business. Mm-hmm. Now Nissan Stadium.
Oh, okay.
Nashville then was like a little town. Now it's a metropolis. Giant buildings. They're putting 40 new buildings up as we speak. It's incredible. It was beautiful. Right. You're talking about Bloody Mary with the bourbon?
Yeah.
I had a bourbon mojito with blueberries, mint, and the bottom was like white, like the bottom was brown like bourbon, and the top was white, and you mix it yourself. And I even made my wife try it. It tasted very much like a whiskey sour with mint in it. It was very, very good.
I'd be something I'd like to experiment on.
I got that at Miranda Lampert's, the Casa Rosa. It's a Tex-Mex restaurant right on the strip. It was very, very nice. That was a nice trip for 4 days. Perfect. A lot of eating and drinking. If you like to eat and drink, Paul, that's the place. It's like Vegas without the gambling.
Well, there you go.
Cool.
Well, like I said, hopefully we can stop through there on our way back.
Next year, I would like to fly to Talladega, watch the race on Sunday. After the race, I would like to drive. It's 3 hours to Nashville, do 3 days in Nashville, then fly home from Nashville. Anybody wants to go? Me and Gina are going. So if you want to go, I'll give you the date.
Just find out. Let us know when it's
What I want to do is fly out Saturday night into Alabama, Talladega. Stay there one night, watch the race. Right after the race, with our rent-a-car, we pack everything from the track, drive right to Nashville, check into our hotel, party for 3 days, fly home.
Yeah, just let me know the dates.
Because Nashville, believe it or not, the drinking and eating is so inexpensive compared to other places, it don't pay not to go.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I got friends that go every year. They run a half marathon. They invite me to go, not to run a half marathon, but to hang out.
Was the marathon. The marathon you're referring to was when I left. They were doing it. People, when we were driving to the airport, had the signs. There were Go Joe or whatever, people running in the thing. And I don't mean Joe, if you know what I mean.
Who, Joe, your neighbor?
Let's go.
Yes, Joe, my neighbor. Exactly.
Joe's a good man.
Joe's a great guy.
God bless him and his service to our country.
Or Bronze Star recipient.
Exactly. And his awesome card games.
Joe's a great guy.
Yeah, Joe's beautiful people. So, all right, yeah. So we'll definitely we got to map up our trip. I'd like to hit a couple of distilleries on the way back.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff. There's wineries and distilleries in Tennessee like you can't believe, and they're right all in one area.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to map it out. I don't know how we're traveling out there.
When I looked on the map, when we land in let's say Talladega, we go to the track. You take 65 from Talladega right to Nashville.
Gotcha.
One road. It's like 209 miles or 180 miles. It's like home state. It's like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
You know, I stayed at the Hutton, which was a really nice hotel. It's about a 20-minute walk into the town. Clean, nice. Everybody's friendly. None of that you think, oh, they don't like Northerners. That's all nonsense. They like everybody. They're very friendly to everybody. We went to the Redneck Riviera. Went to Kid Rock's place. It was awesome. Real nice.
Sounds good.
I'm just trying to. I forgot to send this earlier to Mike. Hopefully, I don't mess the fella up. But I wanna what I cooked the other day.
Where's Dr. Roberto?
Dr. Roberto could not make it tonight.
Oh, he's sadly missed.
Yeah, he was on call tonight. Next podcast, he said definitely he'll be on. Breaking chops, looking to go shooting. He sent me a picture this weekend. Actually, Easter Sunday too. He was out clay shooting. So
nice.
He's practicing because he wants to. He don't want to. Not that he doesn't want to be a scrub, but he wants to be able to. I want to be able to hang with you fellas when I go play shooting. I said, listen. I go. There's days I go out there and I'll shoot like a 46 on the range, and on those days you can't do nothing wrong. So but as a team we kick ass. So that's
as long as Nick's on our team. That was Nick on my team.
Yeah.
So he just got enlisted his leave, so he'll be home for the next, I think, three weeks. He'll be home. So
good.
When he graduates, and so he'll be able to make Andrew's graduation on the 21st, which is going to.
Oh, excellent! So he got the time right after his graduation. He got time off.
Yeah, he got the time off. So which is good. So
I got the pictures, Andrew, if you want to.
You got them, yeah. So Mike, put this up.
Nice.
So that was a chicken. That was a organic, farm raised chicken. I had some heirloom carrots in there. That's a
Oh.
garlic head that I cut in half. And so what I did was I cut the spine out of the chicken. I brined it for about 4 hours. Standard, salt brine, nothing crazy. Some pickle and spices, some salt. That's it. Maybe some garlic, and I think I put a little crushed red pepper in there. I brined it for several hours. That was before I went going. So I had the heirloom carrots that I bought at a farmer's market when I was down south. Those were called red beard onions, green onions, and the chicken was a local farm raised chicken, and I threw it on the Traeger until
Wow, looks good.
yeah, it came out really good. I did it with hickory pellets and stuff like that. Oh my god, it was insane. It really, really was good. I put a little olive oil on there and put just like a little regular spices and stuff on top. Nothing crazy.
Remember the Odd Couple?
Yeah.
It says boneless chicken. How did it walk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one of the topics I wanted to get into tonight was what's coming up. Gardening season's coming up. Backyard. You got to plant your backyard garden.
I'm getting ready. Me and Kevin are going to do mine.
So I ate at this place, Cahill's we were down in Carolina, and it was a farm to table, legitimate farm to table. Guy was in the back, planting stuff, and they were picking stuff from, stuff that they had. So from breakfast to dinner, everything was sourced from that farm. The eggs, the chicken, just about everything was, if it didn't come from their farm, came from like local farms and stuff like that they did. Like the place where you go in Jersey, Lou. Where do you go for the farm thing in Jersey? You go to buy the tomatoes. Where do you go get the tomatoes?
Don't you get them in North Jersey?
Where do you get your tomatoes in Jersey from the farmer up the road from you?
Oh, how's the Hills Farms? Right down
where's the place that you go to get it? Where they trade at the farm. They trade if you got.
The Farmers Cooperative in Windsor.
Yeah, so
East Windsor.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry, Farming Cooperative East Windsor.
They trade
it
like
farmers take their stuff and they sell it all.
Yeah, they got something similar like that down there. But I had an omelet for breakfast from the eggs that they took in that morning. It was. I never had anything fresh like that before in my life. It was really, really good, and so it got me thinking about farm to table and stuff like that. So I know my grandparents. Well, but I know like our grandparents and our parents, and I could pretty much say Paul for from your parents and for Camilla's parents, stuff like that. They've been doing farm to table for God knows how long, right? With the gardens that they had,
grandma in Brooklyn,
right?
Killer gardens.
You had the garden at the house, wherever if they had the house over here in in the city or whatever, they had their little backyard garden, and if they had a weekend place, they had the weekend place all the way out east. Nona's got some killer garden out there. So I mean, that you want to talk about original farm to table? That's where it came from.
Absolutely.
You go out there, she's picking tomatoes, making a fresh tomato sauce, or they're making stewed zucchini or stuff like that. Depending on when the growth cycle was, if this grew, if this needed 30 days to grow, this needed 60 days to grow and stuff like that, but they were like, that was the legitimate real farm to table, if you think about it back in the day. Our great grandmother in Brooklyn, they had rabbits in the backyard and stuff like that. They would think, we would eat rabbit like it was you were eating chicken, that's how they raised them, and that was that. So you want to talk about freshness and stuff like that. So it just
big grapevine. Remember the big grapevine?
Yeah, I got one going in my yard now. It took off really nice the last couple of years and stuff like that. I definitely don't have enough grapes to make my own wine, but we got enough grapes just to to taste them and eat them and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool on top of the plum tree, the cherry tree, and all the little stuff we got going. But you kind of got, if you think about it, you got your own little farm to table in your own little backyard. You just got to utilize it the correct way and stuff like that. So I thought it was pretty cool that this place, it was like, it was a well-oiled machine. It was like, wow, it was something else, and there were so many other places to explore and try that I regretted. Like, we wanted to go back there one more time for breakfast or lunch, and we were all over the place.
Yeah, time doesn't allow it sometimes. You need more time.
No. We went on like a food cruise. We drove to Savannah. We went to Miss Wilkes in Savannah, and that was something else, man. That was so it started out as a boarding house, like right after World War II. If you stood there, you had to eat dinner there. Think of it like a Lucan's down in Savannah. And you sat down at the table. We met people online. We sat down. We made friends with them online. We sat down at the table, and they put everything out. They put fried chicken out. They put pulled pork out. They put meatloaf out. They put beef stew out. And then you had all the southern fixings that you can imagine. Fried okra. They had sweet potatoes. They had mashed potatoes. They had corn. They had cornbread. They had fresh biscuits, fresh baked, rolls. I mean, and stuff just kept coming and coming and coming and coming. And it was the gentleman that gave us a tour in one of the towns is like, you want to go to get some good eats, go there. And we drove like an hour to get there. We waited online for over an hour, but it went fast.
Oh, wow.
We spoke to the people. It was nice. It was a really nice experience. I would, if we ever go back down to go hunt down in Carolina by Deerfield, it's probably like a little over an hour ride from where we got to go. I say we go.
Yeah, I think it's from the Deerfield, because he said they go to Savannah a lot. It's like 80 miles from there to Savannah.
Yeah, I say we go. Just go make the trip.
Yep.
It was that.
Could do that next year if you want to do a hunt. We can go down there for a few days.
Yeah.
You were with us, right? Once in Savannah?
Oh, yeah.
Deerfield? You were in Deerfield.
Paul went with us. That was when we went to the Monday Night Football game.
Oh, you went to the football game with us.
Yeah, it was
That's
you,
right.
Paul, and I.
Yeah, I was
World
looking at
Series
those
that year.
pictures the other
That was-
day. Yeah.
Yeah,
2015. The Mets were in the World Series that we were down here.
yeah, that was a good time. We had a good time. So
We
that
went
was
to the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
That's
Yeah.
right.
yeah,
That was a nice trip.
that was a really good trip. But
Oh, most of our trips are nice trips. This one will be good. Plenty to talk about, I guarantee it.
yeah. Hey, listen, we'll definitely have fun. We'll definitely stop. We'll definitely eat good, which is a good thing. So I like I said, I like the little trip that we did down south. I would like to, if you guys want to experiment on a trip down there to go hunting or not hunting or stuff like that. I don't know if your golf abilities are. I was right in the heart of golf area. I am not a good golfer. I do like to play golf, but I'm not a good golfer. So, but I did find the sporting clay place about 30 miles from where we were, so we can go down there and go shoot sporting clays. But
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity a couple of weeks ago. I have one of my son's friends. They were asking about. They want to buy a semi-automatic shotgun. So I told Mike and Lewis earlier. So I went out and I have the SX4. I like the Winchester XF4. I just, I got to get a little more used to it from my Remington 1187. The 1187 is definitely heavier than the gun, so it swings a lot better. So that's the SX4. I got it in a hybrid Hunter where it's Cerakote barrel and receiver and a camo stock. I mean, which really doesn't make the difference on how the gun shoots, but looking the kid. So you ask somebody, what do they want to buy? When you want to buy a shotgun, what's your budget? What's your budget? Is your budget 500? Is your budget 1,000? Is over 1,000? So they were saying about 1,000 and under. So I looked at the Winchester. I know the Winchester, so I wanted to see who's got them. They're limited market, but local gun stores can order them. But guy had a Beretta A300 Ultima, which is different. It's a different one from the A300. The A300 is a little more sleeker of a gun. I like this gun. That's the gun. I like that gun. I'll be honest with you. It felt like holding my Remington. It really
heavier?
did. It's a little bit heavier.
It's a steel frame or a die-cast frame or an aluminum frame?
You know what? I really don't know. The gun was heavy as shit, though. I don't
It
think
might be a steel frame.
It might be a steel frame, but I was so impressed with the gun. I mean, listen, I know how my Winchester shoots. I know my 1187 shoots. So I went on YouTube and I was looking up if anybody did them. And there was a guy on there did a review, and he liked the gun hands down. It shot faster. It did a bunch of things just from holding it. Listen, Lewis and I grew up hunting with Remingtons our whole life. My father had an 1100. I had 870s before I got my 1187. Lewis got 1187s and stuff like that. So you're kind of used to holding that gun. It's just it feels comfortable. You know how the gun shoots and everything. We know how they perform, and I like the weight of it. That Beretta was I mean, just from holding the gun, I was very impressed by it. And both guns, $799, 8 and change,
It says $900. I'm a little under 900 is what they're promoting it as.
Yeah. So I mean, and
Winter.
There's the SX4.
That
It's the
SX4 in
shotgun
camo.
market.
Yeah, that gun's over $1,000 because you got to pay royalties on the camo pad.
On the camel pattern to
Yeah. So I don't know. I'd like to see who rents. Somebody said that Lehigh Valley rents those Ultimas. So I'd like to maybe go shoot around the clays there. I'd like to rent the gun and test it out. I mean, that's how Lewis and I got turned on to those Rete when we went down to Schrader's.
Those are really nice guns. I like them a lot.
We rented them down there, and every once in a while, when you go to a sporting clay course, if they're renting shotguns, if they got something that's different than like what you're shooting, just to test a different shotgun out, I'd like to, you want to see how the gun, how it feels, how it shoulders. Is it better than what you're shooting? Is it worse than what you're shooting? You don't know unless you try something. But right. I definitely, I'm going to explore that Beretta, that Ultima a little bit more. I definitely, I like the way the gun felt. I really did. I'm very partial to my Remingtons. Like I said, I like my 1187.
Well, we grew up on them, so you should be partial to them. They're like you said,
This gun hasn't let me down, I mean,
you're very reliable.
You need a part, God forbid if you break something or you drop something, you can find parts. I mean, they were a little tough the last 2 years with everything that was going on, but parts are readily accessible. You need a trigger guard. Lewis needed a trigger guard on his gun. I was able to find the one within like a couple of weeks. I got him one. We swapped it right out. So
anything on that gun you can fix yourself except those two little forks in the receiver. You need a tool to put them in there.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only thing.
It's the only thing in that gun that you'd need the assistance of a gunsmith, or you would need to buy the tool to put them in there. There's like two little rods that sit in the receiver that help the action go back and forth. It's like a fork. I forgot what they call it.
It's like a wishbone.
I had to take it to a guy to have it done because I took mine out and boing, couldn't get it back in for nothing. So and on mine I bought it. It's one of the original ones from '87. It's an 1187 I bought in 1987 from the Long Island Outdoorsman that time.
So, like I said, I'm looking to explore that Beretta Ultima a little bit more. I was very impressed the way the gun felt. So
and you said they had it in the store. Somebody had one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the hard part of looking at these guns is a lot of people don't have it. So how do you really know? Get a feel unless you have a friend that has it. You could try it.
And I asked cold off the shelf. I'm like, what do you got in semi-auto? What do you got? What's your budget? $1,000. Showed me this gun, showed me that gun, showed me this gun. He's like, check this gun out. It's a Beretta, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's a nice gun. I was a really, really nice gun. I like the way, so the battery, the gun, different than, the 1187s, the buttons on the bottom, you put your shell and you hit the button on the bottom and it loads the gun. This was on the side. And, a little sensitive, I mean, but it really, like that gun snapped, like I said, I liked it, I liked the way the gun, you open the chamber. I really liked everything about it. I would really like to test fire one just to see exactly, how they shoot.
The Super Black Eagle 2 advertised before the last shot comes out of the barrel.
The first shell
doesn't hit the floor.
Yeah.
The SX4 is supposed to be faster than that. When I buy a shotgun, this is me talking, no professional expert. Pointability, light swing, and the pointability is what I find makes it comfortable and shootable for me. For me, I like those Retes. Not that I'm saying the other guns aren't good. The SX4 is a beautiful gun. I have a Monty Felt throw, which was a gift, and I like that also. But you see, sometimes some guns, the distance, I'm 5'6", 5'7", but I have long arms. If you get a guy that has short arms and is a taller guy, however you want to fix the mixture, it's from the shoulder to the hand, how the swing, the pointability, to me, the fit and feel of the gun is what's most important. You know what I mean? Everything else you'll get used to. How fast does it have to be? I don't know. How fast can you shoot?
It doesn't have to be. I mean, how fast does the gun have to be? It just got to function. It's got to cycle. You know, you don't want
Yeah.
stovepipes or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and then the other, I don't want to say argument. The other thing is gas versus inertia guns.
It's all on what you prefer.
Now you see what I always had gas guns, and I prefer the inertia guns.
That's your preference.
They shoot softer to me, and I believe they're faster.
That's all your preference.
Like I said,
bourbon.
It's a matter of taste.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a matter of taste. Go with the bourbons. You got the stuff from upstate, which I don't care for, and then you got the stuff from down south, which I think is excellent. So it's all a matter of taste. You know, like you call it young. You call it young. I call it. I don't like it. That's just me. It's just a matter of taste. You know, everybody. That's why they make more than one plan and one kind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
An ass for every seat.
Oh, yeah.
The Rete I felt was similar to like the 1187s.
Well, see, that's another thing. Yeah. So when you get what you have and it's a little nicer, a little lighter, it sort of feels like something you like.
I just like the way the gun felt in my hand. You know, that the 1187s.
That's what I said. See, that's sort of the pointability, the feel and pointability is what makes me, you know, gravitate towards something, to be honest with you.
My SX4, I shoot a better round the clays with my Remington than I do with my Winchester. And it's just a matter of that I just gotta the gun's lighter. So am I swinging too fast? I gotta work with the gun. That's it. You know, we got one of Nick's friends. He bought a Beretta A300. You know, he can't shoot the gun, and you know everybody's like, "Oh, he don't like the gun." It's not that he don't like the gun. He's used to shooting Mossberg 500, and you would take the kid on a clay range with a 500 pump, and he'd shoot a 70 plus. He would do really good.
Kid Frank used to do the same thing. Had one of them real old ones with no ventilated rib. He would knock the shit out of the clays.
Yeah. You
What an
know,
old 500 Mossberg his uncle gave him was like a first generation one from the 60s.
And then you put him, you know, he's got his new Beretta, and he's not used to the gun. You got to get used to the gun. You know, I shoot better with my 870 pump.
I like Wingmaster myself. I'll be honest with you. I go when we used to go to Central Jersey to knock them dead with the Wingmaster. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I got no issues with that gun.
Pumps fast, shoots good.
Yeah,
real, smooth.
Yeah, and now that I could play around and swap out the choke tubes with it, you know, the gun. I like the gun even that much better. You know, because I'm to shoot sporting clays. I shoot doubles with it like I shoot doubles with an under and over or a semi-automatic. So you know, it's all on Paul. We go when we go shoot every year. I mean, we came in first place 2 years in a row. Paul, our team.
Yep.
You know, Paul's shooting an 870, and Paul's dusting clays. Something he's like daddy. He's hitting clays at freaking. It's like they're all the way at. They're almost back to New York City, and Paul's like dusting them. He shoots them as far as they could go. So,
yep. That's why I like the extended choke tube, so I can change them out and put a long range one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Swap them in, swap them out. They, you know, those like I mentioned earlier, those Helix, they're extended. They're like,
I really want to shoot one of those. No,
they're a 2-inch
paper.
We'll mess around, Paul. We'll mess around.
That'll be a topic for another show. After we go and shoot, we'll make a little video and we'll show what our findings are.
Yeah, but
that'll be interesting.
Choke tubes definitely make you I would say a better shooter. You know, obviously because you're shooting the right choke tube at the right stand or whatever. So, you know, you definitely got to be mindful of whatever choke tube you're using. You know, you can't just go out there if you're going to use a full choke tube. You know, unless you're an awesome clay shooter. Average guys like us, you got to swap them out. Even I shot guys at some of these, you know, at a lot of tournaments and stuff like that.
Some of those guys that have the very expensive shotguns, they were switching. Like the two doubles in the back, those guys would change their choke tubes for that. Versus the ones in the bottom, you know, the ones that are in the bottom.
Yeah, I shot an event in Florida, and they put us with. So like it was a charity event. You shot with one of the club pros, and I shot with this guy, and you know he had whatever choke tube on the top and bottom he had, and then halfway through he took this one out, put another one in. He was using I was telling you Mueller chokes, and they're like hybrid chokes. There's it's like a skeet improved cylinder or like a light modified. I
Yeah,
don't know.
when I looked all of them up, they were all like that. None of them was straight improved cylinder. They were either light full
Yeah,
or heavy modified. They were all different categorizations. All of them were, like you said, hybrid. None of them were improved cylinder, modified. They were either light modified, light full, heavy improved, or whatever.
I had shot at a tournament down in Maryland, and I had my my Ruger under and over, and I shot. And they're tough to find choke tubes for. Not a lot of people make choke tubes for them.
Only American made over and under.
And they had my guns made prior to '93, so there was a different choke pattern that I made after, stuff like that. But there was a guy there that made custom choke tubes. So, and he was there selling choke tubes. So I sat with him and everything, and I had to wait. I actually had one choke tube that he had there, and then I had to wait for the other one. But he recommended they're numbered. So I have a 15 that I shoot in the bottom and a 10 on the top. I don't remember exactly what the make of them are and stuff like that. But Lewis and I went bird hunting, and I used that gun bird hunting. I didn't miss a freaking bird.
Did I make that blurrier or clearer?
Blurrier.
Hold on.
Yeah. Do they actually have professional
There we go.
sporting clay people that actually go to tournaments and
Sure.
have sponsors?
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if they change out their shotguns on each, during a round.
If you're sponsored by somebody, you got to have.
You got to use their gun, right?
You got to use their gun, and I'm pretty sure the guys could probably got 3 or 4 in the car.
Remember the guy Tom Knapp? Tom Knapp, he passed away.
Yeah.
But what is a young kid now? I can't think of his name. He shoots for Mossberg. What's Fitzgerald's Irish name? Yes. Yeah. That kid is phenomenal.
That
insane.
Kid is good. Yeah.
He throws a handful of them up with one of them extended choke, like the 930, or like destroys them.
I don't know how he could throw them so freaking high.
He can throw them. Shoots them all. Forget about it.
Yeah, there's like one's like a foot off the ground, and he does.
Go watch him on YouTube. It's very entertaining. Very good.
No, he's pretty good. So, listen, the season's coming. We're definitely going to be out there. We'll, like I said, we're going to do a part 2 to this because I want to do the gun care portion of it. The guys from Battleful they'll be on next week. I'm sorry, in 2 weeks when we go back on. So we'll get them on. I'm trying to get somebody on from a bourbon company if they're available in 2 weeks, but we'll see. We'll make a whole part 2 of this.
You guys want to take a fast ammo quiz before we pack it in?
Let's go. Go ahead.
All right. I'm going to use this piece of plastic to hold it up so you can see it. All right. Can you see that one?
Yeah. Was that?
All right. Hold on. It's 3. I'm going to make them a little straighter. Hold on.
Hold them up a little bit more.
All right, hold on.
So
there you go. How's that?
I'm thinking 44 Magnum, 45, correct, and 40.
Correct.
That's what I was going to say.
There you go.
Here's another one.
That's cute. I know what that is, Paul. You want to give that a whirl?
3006?
No, it's 556.
223.
All right. This one I'll put by itself, and then I'm going to put something next to it. Can you see that one?
Yeah.
Okay, what is that?
Looks like a 9mm.
Correct. Now, here's the one you're not going to get. What is that?
So is that a wad cutter?
No.
Or is that just an empty shell?
That's a shell. That's not a bullet. It's just a shell.
Mm-hmm.
But here it is next to the 44 Magnum, which will give you, they always rate them as which one's more powerful.
I don't know what that is. It's
That's a 50 A&E Action Express.
I've never even heard of that.
Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, sorry. See it? 50 A&E. I found these at the range, and I took them home and I cleaned the brass. As you can see, I polished them with that new finish stuff. And I got a kick out of how big they are. So I want to look some of the ballistics up. And depending upon how you look at it, 44 Magnum, of course, I'll start a controversy, supposedly is more powerful.
Okay.
Why you would buy this reminds me of like that 50 Beowulf, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can get them in some of the like hybrid, I would say hybrid. You know the ARs, they make like them in carbine caliber, you know, so I'm assuming you can get that one in that caliber also. But here's your standard 40. And that's it. That's what I have for today, because I did not do a gun review, and I explained a little bit to Mike. I didn't want to review things that I had no trigger time on and did not really know what I was talking about. If you're going to have a Browning, a Beretta, and a Remington, and I have all three of the guns that can shoot them, I can give you an honest to goodness review of how my findings are. I can't talk about stuff I don't have, didn't shoot, just from reading another guy on YouTube or whatever. You can watch YouTube yourself.
Fair enough.
So, you know.
You got it.
And then I'll do a little workup on some reloading and some stuff like chrono to tell you the difference in how fast they are and things like that. And, you know, when we're reloading for steel, we're looking for accuracy and low recoil. So, and, you know, the action's got to work, of course. But, you know, things like that are what you're looking for. When you're hunting, of course, you know, you want maximum penetration and accuracy. And there's all different reasons people reload for different reasons to shoot more shootability, more shooting. Save money, which today is very hard to save any money because everything is so expensive.
You've been squeezing.
You're making them as much, not as much or as much as you could buy them. So, you know, primers are few and far apart.
You've been squeezing the most out of a pound of powder
for years. For years. I bought this stuff when Obama was in office, when we had the first crunch and you couldn't buy nothing. Once it cleared up, I stocked up, and I still have stuff from then. So we're okay. You know, we're still in the 7,000-8,000 primer range compared to some guys have nothing. And we're okay. Tips you could buy, they're a little more than they were. Powder's a little bit harder to get than it was.
It's out there.
You know? I mean, I still find a lot of brass, and brass is great because it's like $2 and change a pound. So, you know, a couple of buckets of brass bring back nice pennies. You can buy more supplies. And that's it. That's all I have today, gentlemen.
I think that's a wrap. We had a nice show. You know, we definitely ran through the topics that we wanted to, you know, bring to the people and stuff like that. Next show, like I said, I'm hoping to have the gentleman on. I'm hoping to have a couple guests on next show. And, you know, we'll talk about proper gun care and maintenance, stuff like that. I'm trying to get one of the guys from one of the local gun stores on, if we can get them on there as well. So I'm just trying to fit into their schedule as well. So we'll see in 2 weeks. We'll see how many people we can get on. You know, we'll have a little conversation with everybody.
Sounds good.
Other than that, that's a wrap. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
If tomorrow all things are gone, I worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away.